I'm Dean, I'm the dad.
I'm Laura, I'm the mom.
And I'm Chrislyn, I'm the daughter.
And together we are Family Plot. Very nice, very nice. Welcome to the show, everyone. Some housekeeping to get out of the way. First and foremost, if you want to help us out, a few ways you can do that. There's Patreon with $1 and $3 donation levels. That's a monthly thing. And, you know, depending on which one you pick, you get extra stuff.
You get perks, special VIP.
Yep. Also, if you can't do a monthly thing, you can do, but you can do a one-time thing. You can go through Buy Me a Coffee, which is just a straight one-shot whole dollar amount donation. I do want to take a moment, though, before we get to the next bit and say that I've had some conversations with a listener of ours on X or Twitter. I prefer Twitter. Anyway, his name is Richard. He's a truck driver. He listens to us while he drives, and
That's nice.
Yeah, he's always so. But he was like, it's like having my family with me in the truck, and I was like, well, that's nice. So
thank you, Richard. If you're listening right now, we appreciate you, and we're glad you're part of the fam.
Yep, welcome to the fam, Richard. Now, if you enjoy the show, please share it on social media.
Share it with family,
with friends.
With everybody. But if you don't enjoy the show, please keep it to yourself. Now,
remember, if you can't say something nice,
don't say it at all.
Absolutely.
Alrighty. So, what are we talking about tonight? Well, tonight we'll be heading back to one before Common Era to meet with a legendary hero of the Irish people, Cu Chulainn. We talk about his birth, how he earned his name, how he gained his famous spear.
Am I the only one who wants to say bless you when you say this man's name? Chris? Cu Chulainn. Bless you. Okay. Go ahead, sorry.
Let's see. We talk about his birth, how he earned his name, how he gained his famous spear, and what finally laid him low in this folk tale, maybe based on a real warrior episode of the Family Plot podcast.
But
first, Krista has a corner.
It's not just any corner, it's Krista's corner.
So he almost hit the slaps. How dare you slap me?
I didn't.
Didn't hit the slap. So
almost.
Okay.
He didn't though. I'll be honest, I would hit the slap button on accident. If I was in control of the buttons, I would accidentally slap myself.
And I that button on purpose.
Oh! Ow. Alright.
So, Chris, what's going on in your corner this week?
Okay. So I went over to my grandma's last weekend, I think.
Uh-huh. Weekend
I don't think I've said this yet, but not only have I made it to season 4, I've surpassed that.
Yay.
And now I'm on season 5 of Supernatural.
Have you met Kevin yet?
Kevin? No, I haven't met Kevin yet.
Okay.
I want to meet Kevin. He sounds amazing, but I haven't.
And aren't there 16 seasons to that?
There are 16 seasons to
So you
Supernatural.
got a ways to go yet.
Yeah, you got plenty of time to meet Kevin, I
made
think.
it pretty far within this month.
Yeah, so what other school stuff you got to tell us about? Except that what you're out by like next Wednesday or something.
No,
Friday.
next
Right.
Friday.
Oh.
We're out by next Friday.
They have to go all the way through this weekend, all the way through next week, and then they
Which
are off.
it feels so much shorter because like we're already halfway through the week.
It's kind of weird though because it's like they're making them go literally right up to.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
They didn't get any additional time off because of Christmas falling on a Monday this year. They didn't give them Christmas Eve off because Christmas Eve falls on a holiday or on a weekend. They just go until Friday and then they are off until after the first of the year. It's so strange.
Yeah, that is quite strange.
But with them going to 4-day weeks, I mean, yeah, they've got to pull some time from other places.
I mean, yeah, they pulled some time off of that, and then they also took off like spring break and stuff like that to make it like make the year last a little longer.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything else going on in your corner, Krista?
I've been working on my art style some more, so I've been getting like a lot of things drawn, and you know, I'm improving.
Good.
I'm improving very much.
We love to see your art. So we're going to see some new digital art for the show here before too long, too?
Probably.
It's been a while since we got an update to the show logo. Maybe you can work on something for us.
I'll try and see what I can do. I'm still not the best with... I'll do my best to make something that I think will fit. Think it may be some dolls.
Dolls?
Yeah.
Creepy dolls?
Yeah, some
That could
creepy
be
dolls and like
Hey, that'll make Uncle Danny so happy.
creepy dolls and stuffed animals. That'd be amazing. Like those broken down, worn down teddy bears.
That would definitely be interesting.
Definitely.
Like, imagine dragons that...
That kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of thing terrified me as a kid, but you know what? It's fine.
Absolutely.
Let's terrify more children on accident.
You know.
Yeah, I remember your mom telling me that you would, whenever you saw that video, you would come to her and say something about not liking
I
it.
like this song, but the video scares me, she would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what else is going on in my little Krista's corner?
Recently I've had a change in, like, aesthetics, and I'm...
Change in aesthetics?
Yeah, I've had, like, a sort of a change in aesthetics. I've been... I don't know.
Right there.
Okay. Recently I've had a change in aesthetics, so I've sort of switched from, like, more... what is it?
Like-
Intricate outfits to sort of a more, like...
You've been more relaxed recently.
I've been more relaxed.
And you're not wearing your corset.
I'm not wearing my corset.
I don't know. I'm just kind of sad. I kind of thought that was cool.
That was very cool, actually.
I love wearing my corset, but it's one of those that, like, if you don't...
Stand up straight, it digs into you? That's
No.
kind of the idea of a corset.
It doesn't do that. It, like, bends.
I got you.
It bends very easy.
I got you.
So...
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I'm thinking of going back into my sort of more intricate styles, because I really like doing that. I just want to get the,
Well, you're also approaching Christmas, so, you know. You could be in that too much work phase.
The holidays. Yeah, the holidays.
But, yeah, it's possible that I could be in just that state where I'm just like, I don't really want to try too hard.
Could be.
Do you have anything else going on, baby girl?
I've been obsessing over Sam Winchester.
Yeah, well, that goes along with the whole.
Yeah, it does, but like mainly Sam Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
Which one's Sam?
The younger brother
one.
who's taller.
The taller one?
Yeah, the
one
taller
that's
one.
not a ladies' man. The one that's kind of
well, he's
sweeter.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Is the shorter one. He's been doing Batman's voice lately in cartoons.
Jensen Ackles.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, anything else?
No, not really.
Okay.
All right. Good. Before we go forward and start on this.
Before we dig much into Cu himself, we must look into the Celtic religion, and that's spelled Celtic, but it is pronounced Celtic unless you're talking about the basketball team from Boston. These are all members of the Tuatha De Danann. Essentially, they are idealized humans who don't suffer the effects of aging or infirmity and are often thought to predate the birth of men. So let's run down the list. In no particular order, we're going to start with Morrigan, also called Morrigu, the Phantom Queen, also known as the Queen of Demons. She appears as one woman clad in armor, or a trio of witchy sisters, or a crow. She's the goddess of war, the wife of Dagda, and the daughter of Enmus. Not sure who Enmus is, but Dagda we'll talk about later. Next up, we've got Brigid, goddess of fire, poetry, healing, agriculture, and prophecy. A red-haired goddess, she was said to have inspired all of the poets of Ireland. She is the daughter of Dagda and the wife of Bress. Then there is Lu, and sometimes his name is spelled L-U-G, so I don't know if it's just Lug then, or if it's still Lu. But he serves as king of the gods, reputed to both be a mighty warrior and a king, sometimes known as Lamphada, which translates to long hand or long arm, probably related to his skill with the spear. Danu, the mother goddess, quite literally. She gave birth to most of the gods, and indeed, Tuatha De Danann means the people of Danu. She is associated with nature, death, regeneration, wisdom, and prosperity. Then there's Tyrannus, also known as Twiran, the Celtic god of thunder, armed with a wheel and a thunderbolt.
You know, he travels lightly.
For the Celtic Thor, he's doing just fine.
Sure.
There's Cernunnos, also called the Horned One, and associated with stags, dogs, bulls, and horned serpents. He's usually pictured with a torque, which a torque is a metal half circle, and depending on what metal it's made out of, if it's worn on the arm, it's a status symbol among the Celtic peoples.
I see.
So he's always got one of those, a bag of coins, and a cornucopia. He's often pictured seated in a cross-legged position, always pictured as having antlers. He is the lord of wild things and is often believed to be the leader of the wild hunt. Wild hunt, for those that aren't familiar, is in Celtic folklore, occasionally, certain nights of the year, this strange antlered man and a team of hounds will cross all of Ireland looking for a specific stag. And if you get in their way, well, tough
Probably
cookies.
not going to be good for you.
Yeah. There's Dagda, who's the god of the earth, often called the good god. Dagda is depicted as a druid, the spiritual father of the Tuatha De Danann, and is usually shown to be a huge bearded man in a hood. Dagda carried a staff, which he could use to kill or bring life, depending on which end he used, and he could kill as many as 10 men with a single blow. So, apparently he's related to the tailor from our fairy tale.
Either that or a bowling ball.
Yeah, or a bowling ball. Dagda was linked with strength, agriculture, fertility, wisdom, magic, and druidry. Then there was Rhiannon, not to be confused with the song by,
Rihanna?
No.
No, unless you want your dad to get a nosebleed. Don't ever bring up Rihanna on this podcast again.
Wow.
Stevie Nicks' old band, and I can't remember the name. They did a song called Rhiannon.
Spring and all of them.
Yeah.
The group Dean was trying to think of is Fleetwood Mac. No one tell him.
I don't.
Anyway,
I know who you're talking about, but I can't for the life of me.
not to be confused with the rock song, same name. Rhiannon was the Celtic moon goddess, as well as said to be the divine queen of the fairies. She also was the deity of rest, communication, and leadership. Then there was Macha or Masha, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, goddess of land and horses, also a deity of sexual fertility.
Cover your ears.
I don't need to cover my ears.
Then there's Eru, goddess of Ireland itself. Her name is used as a stand-in for Ireland.
Interesting.
There's Emain, the Celtic goddess of summer and of love. Then there's Aran, Celtic god of death, believed to have originally been a Welsh deity, ruler of the land of the dead. He rides a gray horse.
Like you would.
So those are the Celtic deities. They are important to the story, as you will find out. Now that we've gone through all of that, let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors.
Hey, babe.
Yeah, dear.
I feel sponsored.
I
Awesome.
also feel sponsored.
Yay for you too.
I feel so sponsored that I think I'm going to take the next section.
Okay.
So, Cu was born to the sister of Conchobar Macnessa, also known as Connor, who was king of the people of Ulster, also known as the Ulats. Connor's sister was Decatur, and she claimed the father of the boy was none other than Luke, king of the gods himself. He was born at Newgrange, the site of Ireland's most prominent Neolithic monument, and was a strong and healthy child, then named Satanti. The story goes as follows. One day, King Connor and his sister rode their war chariots out into the countryside, hunting some unusual birds that had been reported. While they did spot the birds, they never could get close to them and followed them to a strange house. When they went in, they were overcome by sleepiness and collapsed. Decatur dreamed she was approached by a king and warrior carrying a mighty spear. The two cleaved to one another, and when morning came, all woke unchanged except Decatur, who was suddenly carrying a child. Decatur told the men that in her sleep she had been approached by Luch, and it was his child she carried. They headed back to the castle, passing the monolith at Newgrange. When Decatur went into labor, she gave birth to a noble-looking and strong baby boy.
Ooh.
A boy she claimed was the son of Luke. A boy she named
Satanta is how it's most.
Satanta?
Satanta is how it's most
Now,
usually.
according to some tales, there was physical proof of his relationship to the Duatata Didanan. He had 7 fingers on each hand and 7 toes on each foot, and 7 pupils in each eye. That would be scary.
No, thank you.
Whatever the case, he was strong by who took to physical life
He was a strong boy.
He was a strong boy who took to physical life demanded of children of the age quite well. He decides to join the boy troop at
Emain Macha. Yeah.
Emain Macha, and leaves home on his own to find them and join them. However, without having someone to introduce him to the boy troop, they believe him to be an outsider and attack him. However, the boy who will become Cu goes into a berserker's fury, transforming into a brutish monster, and he defeats the entire boy troop. Drawn by the ruckus, the boy troop is approached by Connor, who explains the misunderstanding. Each of the boys then pledges to protect the new boy, and then he proceeds to chase them so he can swear they are under his protection. All right.
And Chris, you get to talk about his name.
Awesome. Ooh. Ulster?
Ulster.
Being the nephew of King of Ulster?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Connor is proud. Connor? Is that how you say it? Okay. Connor is proud of the boy's abilities and ask.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well,
ask him to join.
Okay. And ask him to join the king as he heads to a feast at that house of local smith named Cu Chulainn, right?
Yes.
His name is actually pronounced Len.
Nope.
No, just Len.
Len. Okay. Len. However, the young Sitna? I heard you say it earlier. Can't remember what it was.
Satanta.
Thank you. Has a game to finish and agrees to join the king later. Spelled agrees wrong, by the way. The king then forgets to mention that he is bringing a guest, so when the young boy gets to Smith's home, he's attacked by the Smith's mastiff, a giant hound. Cu curls his ball into the animal's mouth, causing the dog to choke before he beats it with a stick, killing the dog. Wow, give me the dog part with the death and, make me hurt a little bit. That's fine.
Puppy.
The king and the smith come out to inspect what's happening, and the smith is very upset by the death of his faithful hound. However, the young boy, says he will take the hound's place and guard Cu Chulainn's property until a new hound could be raised and trained, and thus the boy was known as
Cu Chulainn.
Cu Chulainn?
Yeah, which means the Hound of Cu Chulainn, or the Hound of Len.
Cu Chulainn, which means, yeah, okay, you said it. Why do I need this? Right.
I was helping. I was trying to
be helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So.
We have a podcast promo?
Yeah, we're going to start. Okay, we've had access to this list for a while with all these other podcasts, many of whom we know, and I just keep forgetting to put them into our show.
You even get to promo fellow podcasters. That is so exciting.
It is. So
I love that.
We're going to take a moment, and we're going to insert a promo for a podcast right here.
That's awesome.
Hey there, I'm Tara.
And I'm Jessica, and together we co-host the podcast 3 Spooked Girls.
If you love the paranormal
or murder,
join us on Mondays for full-length episodes where we discuss our favorite paranormal stories and true crime cases.
And join us again on Thursdays for our mini-sodes called Stabby Snippets, where we tell you all about true crimes happening in the news.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, wherever the hell else you listen to your pods at. You can also find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook by using the handle @3SpookedGirls.
Come and hang out with us and get your spooky on while we scare the hell out of you.
The 3 Spooked Girls.
And now that that's done,
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I don't even know which podcast we're promoted, but it's going to be, we'll find out tomorrow. So let's talk about some of the tales of Cu Chulainn. Shortly after he gets that name, Cu is at a lesson with Cathbad. Now, Cathbad was a warrior and a scholar. He trained most of the boys at Emain Macha. Cathbad announced that he who took his arms that day would be forever famous. Cu then insisted on taking arms that day. After Cu goes to Connor and demands arms and is given them, later Cathbad pulls him aside to tell him the rest of the prophecy, that he who took that arms that day would be forever famous, but would lose their life at a young age. At one point, he goes to kill 3 warriors who had killed many of the Ulster people. In fact, they were brothers, and they bragged that there were more Ulster folk dead by their hand than were living at the time. And of course, that made Cu so happy. So he had to go and fight them, and he won, and he did not leave them alive. He found them and he killed them. And when he returned, the people of Ulster realized he was still in a battle rage. They got all of the women of Ulster to remove their shirts and expose their bosoms to distract him.
I'm sorry, what?
They got all the women.
What?
They got all the women of Ulster to remove their blouses and show off their bosoms to distract him.
Oh, that would definitely distract someone.
And while he was distracted, they grabbed him. All the men grabbed him and they dunked him in a barrel of cold water. Oh. As soon as they put him in the water, it began to boil. The water evaporated and the barrel fell apart.
In other words, he was steaming mad.
I guess. So they put him in another barrel of water. That one boiled too. So they put him in a third barrel of water. That one rose to a pleasant temperature, and finally he came out and he was no longer in the middle of a rage, which
probably safer for everyone around, but that's a little excessive.
Now, another instance found several nobles realizing that young Cu was quite handsome, and these men came to believe that his good looks could steal their wives and ruin their daughters. A call went out across the land to find Cu a wife, but every woman brought before him he rejected except for one. He pined for the beautiful Emer, daughter of Gae Monach. Gae Monach, however, did not want his daughter to marry a man as dangerous as Cu. So in order to earn his new bride, Gae suggests Cu go train with Scathach in the land of Alba. Now, Alba is what they called Scotland at the time.
I see.
Cu goes and is trained in the art of war by Scathach herself, including the Gae Bulg, a barbed spear that once it strikes must be cut from its victim.
Oh, that sounds pleasant.
He even went to war with Scathach's sister and rival, Ife, defeating her in battle. And I may be pronouncing that wrong. Like, this is all old Gaelic, so
very old.
I may be pronouncing a lot of it wrong. The only thing I'm sure about is Cu Chulainn. In some stories, after he defeats her, he forces her to bear him a son.
That seems excessive.
Yeah, but he also makes friends with Ferdiad while he's over there, who becomes his boon companion and fellow warrior. Cu returns fully trained, but Gae refuses to allow the marriage. Now, mind you, while Cu was in Scotland training, Gae tried to marry his daughter off to someone else, and the warrior was like, you want me to marry this woman that Cu wants to marry? No, thanks.
Yeah, no. I was there. It's a barrel scenario.
Yeah.
That's not happening.
You want me to marry her? No. I think I'm good.
So
I'm good, buddy.
Then Cu gets angry, like he does, and he storms Gae's fortress, kills several of his men, kidnaps Emer, steals Forgal's treasure, and watches as Forgal himself plunges off the battlements to his death. Emer marries Cu.
Like you would. I mean, at this point, what else is she going to do? Her father just committed suicide. Sorry, trigger warning. The forcing to bear a son probably is trigger warning too. Just saying.
These are very old tales.
Very old, but still, probably. Really? Okay. Silly girl. The kitty. Family plot kitties are trying to get into the show tonight,
Apparently.
All right. So, even with all of this that we've talked about, the best known story of Cu Chulainn is yet to be told. So, the best known story of Cu Chulainn is the cattle raid of Cooley. The Queen of Ulster became desirous of a great white bull that Connor and his people possessed. The queen managed to lay most of Ulster's defenders low by using a curse that gave men of Ulster labor pains. That's the best curse ever. That is amazing. That Queen of Ulster just became my new hero. That is hilarious. Did you hear that? She laid them out by giving them labor pains. That is amazing.
They need that.
Best story ever. Forced to single-handedly battle the thieves, Cu meets them at a crossing point of a river and demands single combat with the men one at a time. For months, he stands at the river challenging and defeating man after man. Man, the Celtics told some great stories. That's amazing. Somewhere during this battle, the goddess Morrigan approaches Cu to win his heart, but he resists her. Afterwards, she interrupts his battles with other men trying to get him killed. However, he manages to defeat the men and injures her at every turn. Finally, she appears before him and begs forgiveness. He gives it, healing her wounds. He manages to save the bull, but returns to Ulster to discover every boy of Emain Macha boy troop has been slain. He goes into a berserker frenzy, becoming a giant feral beast as he slays those responsible.
So
That's still a really good story, though.
Yeah, the labor pains. I thought you'd like that.
Amazing.
The labor pains.
They sold my car on October 3rd. It's been gone, what, about 5 weeks?
So let's talk about the death of Cu Chulainn. Cu has several more adventures, though he makes a few enemies along the way. One of the enemies he makes is actually Ify. According to the stories where he forces her to bear his son, she sends his son to find him, but puts him under a geas. Now, a geas is a taboo that you either had to do or could never do, depending on the way it was phrased.
Right.
And Cu's son was put under the geas of he could never give his name to anybody who demanded it. So he shows up looking for Cu Chulainn, and Cu's like, "What's your name?" "I'm not going to tell you." This goes on for a while. Cu's anger grows, which he reminds me of Eric the Red and the Red Rage from the movie Eric the Red, because he would get so angry, but he would never get angry at the right time. And so his berserker fury usually got spent like having arguments over dinner, as opposed to the same guy who made Brazil made it. Anyway, good movie. But yeah, so he winds up getting in a fight with his child and kills his own son. Well, Ify at that point sends one of her other sons, not Cu's child, to go and kill Cu. And that's just one example of like many enemies he made. He made a bunch.
Sure.
Now, every great hero has the Gaeas laid upon him. Gaeas, as I said, are taboos, things that the person afflicted by them are either not allowed to do or compelled to do. Cu had 2. First, he was never to taste the flesh of his namesake. Thus, he could not eat dog.
Oh.
In this modern times, wouldn't have been a big deal. Back then, you ate what you could catch.
Sure.
However, he was also not allowed to refuse a meal. So if someone offered, hey, want to come and eat? So on his way to face, so at this point, he's found out Lugaid, son of a man Cu killed, has gathered several other of his enemies, mostly people that Cu made orphans, together, and they're going to kill him. So he's on his way to go meet this guy, and he sees this old woman who invites him to eat with her. Unable to refuse, he joins her to discover that the meal is dog meat.
Joy.
Cu takes a single bite and moves on. In doing so, Lugaid robbed him of his spiritual protection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lugaid has had 3 spears made, each one blessed to kill a king. The spears are he readied as Cu, now robbed of his spiritual power, headed towards the confrontation. In battle, Cu is still ferocious, killing many of the men. However, Lugaid throws one of the spears, killing Cu's chariot driver, who was the best chariot driver in all of Ireland, thus the king of chariot drivers. Cu takes the reins himself and still charges the forces opposing him, killing even more. However, Lugaid throws the second spear, killing the horse pulling the chariot, which he was the best horse in Ireland, thus king of horses. On foot, Cu still brings the fight to these men. However, Lugaid throws the third spear, striking Cu. Cu binds himself to a large stone so he can die on his feet. Soon, he is no longer moving, and Lugaid approaches Cu. Suddenly, Cu's eyes snap open. The hero light, which is a thing in Irish folklore, great heroes are able to generate like this mystic light at moments of great need. Yeah. And so this hero light plays out around him, and with a deft movement, he removes his sword and decapitates Lugaid. That's what you get for sticking me with a spear, jerk. The hero light fades, and Cu closes his eyes for the final time. The few men remaining cut off his sword arm, but leave him bound to the rock that to this day bears his name, the place where Cu Chulainn fell.
He didn't fall because he died on his feet.
Okay, the place where he died, but yeah.
I know, I'm just saying.
And
Semantics.
that is the story of Chulainn.
What a deal.
I think it rivals Hercules or any other.
It is. It's a pretty good. It's a pretty good folk tale. I guess that would be where it kind of falls. Right?
Yeah, it's folklore. It may be based on a real warrior, kind of, but it's more than likely that it's based on several real warriors that just
kind of got mished.
Yeah, kind of got smacked into one.
Yeah, the Celtics can tell a heck of a story.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The Irish still can tell a heck of a story.
Can. Absolutely. And what a joy to listen to as well. I love their accent, the lilting of the way that they speak. It really is a beautiful country, beautiful people.
And I've got to say, some of their curses are unique. Like,
I will never love a curse more than cursing all the warrior men with labor pains.
That is so funny.
That is the best curse I have ever heard. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially before Tylenol.
But it wasn't before white willow bark.
It's true, but it's not exactly like you can brew you up some tea before you.
Yeah, that's true.
Go into battle.
I'm just saying that was a thing that they did use. In fact, the Druids knew a lot about plant life, and the Celtics certainly were a druidic culture. So yeah, it just, I love the story of Cu Chulainn, and I'm surprised that there's never been a movie made about it. Like, or there's never been like a hero's story told about it, like the Silmarillion or Hercules turns up in books, you know. And I feel like some stuff you need to leave out. He can't be having people he conquers bear his children and
blah blah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, it definitely could be the basis for some interesting adventures for sure.
Yeah, I was like, you know, I would watch Cu Chulainn, The Legendary Journeys, but
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Right?
And I'm sure that, you know, we could get Bruce Campbell a job on that show because he's amazing.
You know, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think, Chris? That kind of brings us to the end of our show. Any additional thoughts?
Definitely think the curses are cool.
They're
unique.
Labor pain curses.
They're unique. But I don't think all of that's real. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, I don't think any of it's real. I think a long time ago, there were probably several warriors who did several different cool things. But as time went on, as people do, they begin to tell, you know, instead of this is the story of Steve, this is the story of Ed, this is the story of Fred, they all they all give it to one guy. So it all becomes part of the story of Steve. Yeah. So history forgets who, you know, Fred and Ed were, but they remember Steve.
They remember Steve because apparently he had all those things.
So yeah, I don't ever think that this was never about whether or not it's real. He may have been based on a real warrior or several real warriors, but I guarantee you, like, he might have fought in some important battles. He may have been a master spear user. Again, this was never about, was he real? This is all folklore. This is clearly folklore. But there might be a kernel of truth way down at the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's possible. A lot of it seems false, though.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know of any man that's been so angry that if you stuck him in water, he would boil it. But,
and even if he did boil, he would die. If he boiled the water, he would die from the overwhelming temperature.
Also, I like the hero light, and it doesn't get used often enough.
No. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things that we've seen in movies and animation. That whole, like, in the phrase "hero light," I can very much in my brain see that whole, that warm, cascading, like biblical, magical light that you see when something awe-inspiring happens. You know?
Yeah. I see Lugade, you know, walking towards what he thinks is the dead body of Cu and going, well, you know, time to make myself look good. And then Cu suddenly pops his head up and goes, aha, whap, there goes your head. As dying goes, or as the last thing you do before you die and get, that may be
pretty good. Yeah, that's definitely up there. Absolutely.
But yeah, no, Chris, I don't think any of this is true. Like I said, it might be based on little bits of fact. Like it maybe someone did try to steal a white bull from the people of Ulster, and Steve was a great warrior, and Steve became Cu Chulainn, you know?
Yeah.
So that brings us to final thoughts.
Oh, I thought that was final thoughts.
We had discussion, and now final thoughts.
I see. I'm sorry. I was confused. All right. So, I mean, I kind of. All right, so I don't know. My final thought is, Chulainn was pretty cool, I guess, and I really like the Queen of Ulster who made the warriors have labor pains.
Yeah, and one thing I do like about the Celtic gods and goddesses is, like the Greek gods and goddesses, they're very much behave like humans. I mean, what sort of hubris does it take to decide to hit on a guy who's in a months-long fight with his enemies at a river because you want to you want to hook up with him?
Yeah.
And the dude is married.
Yeah, that might be a little extra.
Oh no, Chris. Oh, you know what? I could try to put a curse on Quentin and give him labor pains.
I hate him. Do your worst.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do your
That's the kid at school that makes her so mad.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.
So, but yeah, I guess my final thoughts are just, to me, this is one of my favorite myths. Chulainn is one of my favorite myths. Just
yeah, and this was the first time I heard it, but it definitely was interesting for sure.
And every time I find a little more about it, I dig into it a little more, and I just think that. But it's definitely Irish. There are things in here that no other culture, like men having labor pains and women distracting a great warrior by exposing their bosoms. How can you not love that?
That's definitely unique to this type of tale for sure.
So, and then also, while a lot of warriors were ferocious in battle and had that berserker rage, only Cu changed shape when it happened to him. Like, he would become taller and stronger, and like he would almost become a Fomor, which is basically kind of an Irish demon, kind of, or maybe more like a devil, kind of. But yeah, not a good dude. So, in fact, the most famous Fomor, his name was Balor.
Like Ben Ballard.
Yeah.
Exactly like that?
Exactly like that. And another Irish hero, another great Irish hero, was Finn McHall.
I see.
Finn.
Nice.
So, yeah. Finn Balor put it together. I
got you.
Yeah. So, that, as they say, is our shoe.
Yes.
Thank you for listening. Did you enjoy the show? Tell us in our Facebook group. Got an idea for a show? Tell us in our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group. Okay.
We really like our Facebook group.
Wait. Why am I alone and it's all caps?
I didn't catch that it was all caps until you said it really loud. Let's try it again.
Okay. Join our Facebook group. Thank you.
It's a really good Facebook group, and we like it, and we want to see you there. How's that?
That's awesome. Thanks to Bill Berendt. That last name is spelled Behrendt. Bill's the guy that does our theme music. Thank you, Bill. If you need music for a project or you need someone to perform it at an event, Bill's your guy. You can reach him at billberendt@sbcglobal.net. Thanks to Paige Elmore of the Reverie Crime Podcast. Paige also has a Canva addiction, which she has used in cahoots with our daughter, Chris, to do some of our logo art. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Paige.
Thanks to Aaron Gnurk of the Big Dumb Fun Show, who continues to promote us locally. Join us next week for our Christmas episode with author Jane Nightshade.
And I'm so excited for that. It's been too long since we've had a guest.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. That's our show. Bye!
Bye.